Hi guys, welcome to Comfort Life channel. It's great to see you here today. Today, Dr. Jason Toretto is here. I want to say in the studio.
In the studio. We're here in the studio.
I wish I had one.
My chiropractic office. Oh my goodness.
And today we're going to talk about intermittent fasting. You should definitely, there are going to be two parts of this video. In this part, we will just discuss the details, your experience, and in the second part, it's absolutely worth, watching it because you will talk us through the benefits, your personal benefits, weight loss, and things like this, and other, trust me, important and useful information for you, for everyone who's looking for a healthy lifestyle. Do not forget to check the YouTube channel. Dr. Jason Toretto has a YouTube channel.
USA Chiropractic.
Yeah, and you will find amazing information about health, chiropractic care, and adjustments, so definitely don't forget to check that out.
Okay.
I'll put the link in the description bar down below this video.
Thank you.
So now just by beginning, right, if you are unfamiliar with what intermittent fasting is, so that's our first question, what it is and what are the guidelines.
Sure.
Of.
So intermittent fasting is, which you'll probably hear it a lot in the news. You'll see it in YouTube channels. There's a lot of literature that's out there. It's nothing. It's something that's been around for many years.
Yeah.
Right. It's a term for various diets that cycle between a period of fasting and non-fasting during a defined period.
Right.
So that's, if you looked it up in a dictionary, that's what it would say. But what that really means is, it's just in human terms, it's just involves alternating cycles of eating food and not eating food.
Right. Because these fasting terms scares people a lot. But let me just say here, most of the hours that we don't eat happens during the nighttime, right?
Correct.
So you just need to be a little smart in the timing, right? That's
Correct.
my next question, actually.
Yeah.
Are there any specific hours that you should not eat, or you just can customize it according to your lifestyle? Because sometimes people say, oh, I can't do it. I have work. I wake up early. I go to sleep late. I'm always hungry. So what are the hours?
Yeah, so I hear that a lot, right? Mm-hmm. But the easiest way to do intermittent fasting and when to do intermittent fasting are the times that you are not around food, or the times that you are not thinking of food, or don't have the, you're not tempted by food, right?
Right.
And so the easiest way to begin your intermittent fasting is to do it at a time that you are either getting ready to go to bed, mm-hmm. or a time that you're sleeping, mm-hmm. right? Because if you sleep, because intermittent fasting typically goes on about 12 to 15 hours, and if you and before you go to bed might be an hour, it might be 2 hours, that would be 2 hours. And then if you sleep for 8 or 9 hours, right, then that would be 11 hours of the intermittent fast right there. I hope that makes sense.
Besides, you definitely shouldn't eat 2 hours before going to bed anyways, right?
You shouldn't.
Plus, when you wake up, you don't just go to the refrigerator and eat, so there is another time frame over there. So what are your hours?
My hours right now are, I try to stop eating at around 9 p.m.
Right.
Okay? And so if I stop eating at around 9 p.m., then that would the next 15 hours would be 12 noon the next day, mm-hmm. right? And so sometimes I eat at 9, I'll stop eating at 9, mm-hmm. and sometimes maybe I'll get home a little bit later, or I might have a snack at nighttime. Mm-hmm. But what I try to do in my brain is, because it varies on how late at night I will eat. Mm-hmm. If I'm doing a show, or if I'm doing if I'm out with my wife having dinner,
right.
I try to just start eating the next day at around 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And so sometimes that's a 15-hour fast, right? And then sometimes that's even an 18-hour fast.
Wow,
depending upon when I go to bed.
Right. Yeah. But what do you think for, let's say, if a person is able to only do 10 or 12-hour fast, is that going to be considered as intermittent fasting, or it's not enough?
Sure, I think that's enough. I think most people that are starting with intermittent fasting should probably start.
Don't go crazy with a lot of hours away.
Don't go crazy with a lot of hours, because that's not necessarily easy. That's something that you can actually gradually work your way up to. Mm-hmm. I know that when I do an 18-hour fast, a 17 to 18-hour fast, I feel better. I feel more light. I feel that there's less food that I have to digest. I don't feel so sluggish. I know that I feel very, very comfortable,
Yeah.
right, with that. And I'm a little older man, so my metabolism is a little bit slower than the typical younger man. So I really don't need as much energy. I don't need as much food, right?
Right.
But so what I would suggest for most people that are starting intermittent fasting, probably start off with a 10 to 12 hour
Right.
fast.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you stop eating at, let's say, 9 o'clock at night, then you know that the next morning at 9 a.m. is when you should be eating,
Yeah.
when you should start eating.
Right.
And that's what most people do already.
Well, that's manageable. I'm sure
Yeah,
it is.
That should be manageable.
It should
right?
be, yeah.
But an even easier way, there are some people that they don't really have set times when they go to sleep at nighttime, right?
Yeah,
And there are some people that eat up until midnight, and they have this kind of awkward lifestyle, right? And that's a lot of us nowadays.
Yeah.
And I think in a situation like that, the easiest thing for you to do would be, rather than trying to count hours from the night before, the easiest thing to do would be to count hours from the point that you wake up. So you know that if you sleep 7 or 8 hours,
Right, that's true. You add up.
then add up. So then what I would do is I would make a mental note that I will start eating 6 hours after I wake up,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
So if you wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning, you're going to eat it around noontime.
Right. What if, let's say, certain people, if you really need that cup of coffee in the morning, you don't have breakfast, but you need the cup of coffee, right? So what if you wake up and you have a cup of coffee?
Sure.
And then you eat like within 6 hours. So
Sure.
how would that work? What kind of coffee you actually you're allowed to have?
Okay, so intermittent fasting allows you to basically it limits your calorie intake.
Right, but the water has to be there at all times.
So
for
water
sure.
has to be there at all
Yeah.
times, right? But typically people wake up in the morning, they have coffee with cream, and then they have juice or something
Sugar,
like
yeah.
that. And a lot of these things have sugar. In fact,
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you a little story. When I started
Okay.
doing intermittent fasting, I love to have coffee in the morning. I do. I'm a coffee guy,
Yeah.
right? And so I would have coffee, and I would put in cream, and I was probably putting in about 4 tablespoons of cream.
Mm-hmm.
But little did I, and I wasn't really getting the benefits of intermittent fasting, and I couldn't understand why I wasn't getting the benefits.
Mm-hmm.
And then I actually looked at the side of my creamer, and I saw that I was having about 250 calories of
Yeah.
cream. I didn't know that.
Oh.
I really didn't know that cream actually had so many calories in it. And so I went back to the drawing board, and I realized that, well, I can have coffee, but my coffee has to be black.
Black,
And that
yeah.
was probably one of the hardest things that I had to manage in my intermittent fasting
But
program.
it's manageable. I mean,
is.
I've been there too, but my problem is that cream and sugar gives me acne, so I have to stay away.
Right.
And it's really hard in the beginning, but I've read somewhere that if you're still drinking milk with the coffee, it's going to give you gallstones.
It will.
Yeah, so like this whole thing is not healthy. So if you're not going to do intermittent fasting after watching this video, you're free not to do that. But if you're still having coffee with milk, think about it again and all the cream is. And actually, almond milk, soy milk, it sounds healthier, but it's not always the case.
Right.
I have a video about that you can watch.
There you
I'm going to
go.
put a
Of
description.
course you have a video on that. Right?
All right, so my next
Yeah.
question was just a simple one. Did you actually feel that you were hungry all the time or no?
No, I really didn't. I think in the very beginning, waiting till 12 o'clock might have been a little bit difficult. But the good thing about it is inside your brain,
You know
that,
you're
hey, I
going-
could eat at
Yeah.
I could eat at 12 noon.
Yeah.
I can wait another hour. I mean,
Yeah.
if I can't wait another hour to have a bowl of cereal or something like that, or
Exactly. Yeah.
then come on. So
Yeah.
so that was really easy, knowing that I could eat at 12. And so from that point, 12 became very, very easy.
Yeah.
I just pushed it off to 1.
Right.
And then after 1, I pushed it off to 2.
Yeah, so never
Yeah.
be very hard on yourself. Don't stress yourself out. We
Right.
don't want that.
Right.
Just remember that you're a very strong person. You can do it.
That's right.
Because once you see the benefits, you'll be so amazed and you would never want to go back. I mean, you
Yeah.
just have to believe us
Yeah.
here, the doctor especially.
Sure. There are 2 things that I
Yeah.
want, just 2 tips that I really want to give those people that are considering
Yeah,
doing
tips are always
intermittent
good. Mm-hmm.
fasting. And this is when you feel hungry, because you might feel hungry. It does happen,
Mm-hmm.
right? 2 things that can really help blunt your appetite completely. Number 1 would be, well, having a cup of black tea or having a cup of black coffee. There are chemicals, maybe it's the caffeine, I'm not sure, but having a cup of coffee helps blunt the hunger pangs. Another thing that's really great is to have like a carbonated water, like a seltzer water, right?
Yeah.
And you can even have a flavored seltzer water if you'd like that, right? I prefer to have just a regular seltzer water, but the carbonation, between the carbonation and just the idea of having the water filling up your tummy, it really helps blunt the hunger pangs completely.
So sort of to trick you,
Tricks the brain.
Yeah.
Tricks the brain.
Okay, so in the process, did you have any, like certainly you have changes, right? We've spoken about great health benefits, but did you have any changes like you were feeling, like you got sick or like headaches or like something like this? No, you didn't notice?
No, really no headaches. I thought I would get headaches, and I think that's what a lot of people actually feel, is that they might get headaches during this, because they say, well, if I don't have any food, I get dizzy, I get headaches.
Yeah.
Most of that dizziness and those headaches really occurs because you have a hormonal imbalance inside your body. You either have too much cortisol, or you got too much insulin going inside your body. And one of the benefits of intermittent fasting is that it really balances out your hormones and allows your body to reach homeostasis, which means your body just runs normally and perfectly. And so you don't get those spikes of those hormones, which actually cause those headaches.
Right. Yeah. Well, during the fasting, during this new diet, not I shouldn't call it fasting, really, did you have any food cravings? And actually, like was your diet healthy generally?
I don't believe that I had any
Cravings?
cravings for anything, and I really don't think that most people will develop cravings, because as soon as that you're done with your fast, you start eating the way you normally want to eat. So if, let's say, you had a craving for, I don't know, a hamburger, you know that you're going to eat that hamburger at the time that you're supposed to be eating. So
although you shouldn't.
Well, so you really don't have those. You really don't have those cravings. But any other side effects, I don't even know.
Well, then you had none.
I had no. Yeah, there are no. And most people don't really, because intermittent fasting is not necessarily a diet. It's really, you're just changing the time in which you eat. That's all it is. It's just changing the time in which you eat. You're not even necessarily changing the food that you eat. Now, granted, if you're looking to go on, if you're doing intermittent fasting because you want to lose weight, well, then certainly during the time that you're eating, you want to stay away from sugary foods. You want to stay away from fatty foods. You want to stay away from all these things.
Just bad, typical
bad foods that are going to cause you to gain weight.
Right. Okay. Did you exercise during intermittent fasting?
A lot of people believe that they should not exercise because, hey, there's no food inside my stomach, so I'm going to get
going to burn myself
and I'm going to
alive
burn
with
myself
the muscles.
out. But in reality, what happens is your body, when you do intermittent fasting, your body starts to burn fat, right? And it uses fat as an energy source. And everybody has fat. 10, 20 pounds of 30, 40 pounds of extra fat.
Okay.
So there's going to be plenty of energy inside there. So when you do go work out, you actually have plenty of energy. What's really funny is sometimes when you go and you work out, if you go working out and you haven't eaten yet, sometimes the workout itself blunts the appetite. It actually suppresses the appetite, and so you can continue to work out. But what's really nice is, after you work out, if you have worked out without food inside your system, and you can do that, and you can also work out with food in your system, but if you do it with no food inside your body, then you create this calorie demand in your body, and when you do eat, the food it's processed better by your body, and it's almost like having an instant energy boost, because that food just gets absorbed right into the blood and your body feels great.
Yeah. Definitely. From my personal experience, let's say if you eat a little too much, sometimes because our body spends a lot of energy itself on just digestive systems, process, and things like that. So if you don't eat, that energy is still there, and it's really great. I've noticed this. I've never done intermittent fasting on purpose, but it just naturally happened to me that I have that window of 12 hours before.
Oh, great.
It just naturally happened. So, and sometimes I was even still thinking I could extend a little bit more.
Sure.
That's why I wanted to hear more, about your experience, because I think I could easily do 16 hours, but I have to put my mind on it. I think it's very important.
Right. Well, most of the energy that our body utilizes is energy that's used up during digestion.
Yes.
It's food that's inside our system. In fact, they say research shows that 50 to 60% of the energy that your body uses goes just towards digesting food, right? So if you are not digesting your food and your stomach is empty and your digestive system is partially empty, you get all that energy back,
right?
Which is great.
Yeah. So I think, do you have anything else to add? I think we've been through every common detail, you know, what are the hours, you know, what your diet should be, what you can drink, what you cannot drink, about exercising. I think we've covered most of it. And of course, if you have any other questions, you could share them with us in the comment section below this video. We shall probably, if we'll collect enough of the questions, we'll make a separate video to address them, or the doctor will just...
I'll answer your questions.
Answer the questions. And the doctor has something else to share with everyone of you, and it's just like great, free, but very helpful material.
Sure. As a special gift to you and to your listeners and your viewers out there, I've created a special report. You'll find the link below, and it's a special report for those people that are interested in doing intermittent fasting. It'll kind of expand on what we discussed today.
That's really great. I want to look into it as well. Good. So maybe last word, you want to wish all the viewers who are going to become healthier person, obviously, after watching this video?
You know, I just want to tell, don't complicate things, right?
Yeah.
Intermittent fasting is very, very simple. There's a lot of information out there, but they're basic, you know, intermittent fasting is based upon simple principles that, when they're followed, really result in a lot of great, great benefits to your body. And that's what I want and that's what we want for you out there, is to really get healthy and to do it as easy as possible and as naturally as possible.
With no stress involved whatsoever.
With no stress. With no stress.
Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Thank you, doctor, for answering all the questions.
Thanks for having me.
We're wishing you all the best to stay happy and healthy. Do not forget to check the doctor's channel and the second part of this video. Both links will be in the description bar down below.
Great.
All the best again, and we'll see you in our next video.
Take care.